I lost my family, my father, about 18 years ago, 18, 19 years ago. And when this man went, he left behind a widow with 9 children. And I was the second eldest. Then my mother did not have any other means of survival, of making a living for her children. But also it was a time of war. We were involved in the center, actually, of the conflict that took place in the north, and we could not go back to the village anymore because it was close to the epicenter of the conflict in Acholi land. And so when my father died, we had clan members of my father's clan, his brothers, his brothers, his nephews, his relatives, throwing us out of my father's house and chasing us and asking us to go back to the village where there was no one. Actually, everyone was in the camp at that time. Everyone had run away from that area. And the ones who were remaining there were the ones who could, who had nowhere to go, nothing else to do. So while we lost part of the property, we continued staying in a precarious situation because my mother had nowhere else to go, and no one else could take us in, and yet they were interested in the few things that were remaining behind. That inspired me, and it was just one of the many stories of so many orphans and widows that daily used to come up, but no one was doing anything. And to make it worse, the cultural institution of my tribe at that time had almost died because of the conflict, but also other things besides the conflict. Nobody was coming up anymore to try and help liberate the situation at all. So I thought that with the little education that I had gotten then, and the lack of avenues that were actually available, the lack of avenues available for people such as me, the orphans and the widows that were suffering in the hands of giants, of the day, I could do something little and experiment and pilot.
A key component of that work is rebuilding society, rebuilding relationships, trying to help people heal and overcome their differences, and collectively then begin to agree on a common future where each person and their contribution matters towards finding fulfillment in their lives and in the lives of the country. I would say that I have a little bias towards conflict transformation tools because one of our key mentors at NPI Africa has been John Paul Lederach, and we developed our own stance with regard to peace building using many of his models. So when ICCO adopted conflict transformation as an approach, I found that a very welcome initiative, and participating in one of the workshops here in Kenya for me was a good eye-opener, and the fact that ICCO was able to step by step adopt some of the tools, the models and the approaches in conflict transformation on an experiential basis, where we took a context that was real for it, like Kenya, and then using those very same tools began to see how they can apply in terms of helping people deal with their conflict issues and move towards a preferred future that is peaceful and where there is reconciliation.
These adds value, because in organizations we look at who might be the critical yeast. We are able now to look at who are the other people who can add value, because in the context, when you look at the preconditions, in order to bring conflict transformation, you need several actors. And so our concern has been networking with others and be able to have a joint intervention, so that we are able to add value on our part, and and others might be able to add value, especially the things that they are better placed. So in such a scenario, we are doing what we are best in doing, which is building, being a resource-based organization. So we are available to organizations to come, and we are able also to talk about accompaniment. We are able to accompany them. We walk with them this particular journey, because we have walked that journey in other places, so we are able to replicate such a scenario.
The process brought on board people from Lango, my region, people from Acholi region, people from neighboring Teso, and people from neighboring Karamojo region. The fact is that some of the conflicts, and very important ones that have been endemic in Lango sub-region, are not, or in Teso, or in all those regions, are not local. There are things actually happening across the regions. There are conflicts being instigated in the Teso region by protagonists from Karamojo region. And then there are also insults taking place across Lango region to the Acholi and vice versa. And these things needed a coordinated effort if we were to work on the root causes, and once and for all address these things positively. And for starters, what's ICCO and Kerk and Actie and the entire process of conflict transformation development did was to bring all the key actors in the civil society fraternity, organizational fraternity, known to ICCO and Kerk and Actie, under one roof, and we discussed things as one block, but also later on split up and discuss our internal business as separate blocks and reported back to the main one. And so we were able to understand in a coordinated manner why certain things were happening the way they were happening in a different region and actually affecting another region, in the north. And I think that that is one key positive or thumbs up for this process of conflict transformation and the working of partners within and actors within. We had an insight into Lango region last week by some warriors from Karamojo region. Whereas the deed was done in my region, I do not have a base, or FAPA does not have a base in Karamojo region. But the people who do, and they are already known to us. People like UGSCC, for instance, and other networks that have a network of agencies involved with ICCO and Kerk and Actie and FAPA, and now FAPA, because we are having one tool that is directing us, that is the conflict transformation framework. It's now a matter of picking a phone or picking pen and paper and writing directly to an actor based across the region in the other in Karamojo, in Kotido, and sharing experience and seeing how best we can work out ways of handling the insurgency between the two. So that has really opened avenues for us as well, and we think that we're a lot more closer to each other. We think that we're a lot more coordinated, although we are yet to see more of the benefit, because we've just started.